What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for life, coming at you on YouTube, and tonight I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers just finished their Week 16 matchup of the 2021 NFL season in the national primetime game, or I guess secondary spot game, with the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs coming into this game on one of the hottest streaks in the NFL. They've won 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row. They've been super hot. They started off the season kind of rough. People were saying, is the Chiefs dynasty kind of over before it begins? Is Mahomes slowing down? The defense, is it crumbling? Is the early reign of the Chiefs in the AFC kind of falling short? And they have quieted the doubters pretty quickly with a really dominant performance the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. They've been scoring more points than anybody, especially in the first half. The Steelers obviously have this trend of getting down by marginal efforts in the first half every single week. There was a stat today that said the Steelers have trailed in the first half by, 21 or more points in 3 consecutive road games. So the Steelers are the weakest first half team in the league, and the Chiefs are the strongest, so we knew what to expect. This was an absolute blowout. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time today. I care much more, though, about my viewers than the Steelers do about getting into the playoffs. So I'm going to give you guys, I'm putting in the work unlike the Steelers today, but right away we kind of saw the writing on the wall. This is not the kind of team that you can go into in Kansas City on the road and try to come back down by 23, 26, 29 points. Just not going to happen against Kansas City. Pittsburgh is the very definition of an average team. They are very inconsistent. Again, starting slow, finishing strong, but being very average. They've now played 15 games, and they are 7-7-1. You cannot get more average than that. We got lucky today coming into the day. Baltimore lost to Cincinnati. Cleveland lost again this week, and the Chargers had lost to the Texans somehow. So we were actually entering the day in the 7th seed in the playoffs. So Pittsburgh controlled their own destiny. In spite of the bad loss to Minnesota they couldn't come back from, in spite of the tie to Detroit, we still found ourselves in the 7th seed in the playoffs coming into the day, and we could control our own destiny, win out, and you win the division. But again, playing probably the best team in the NFL here, in my opinion, at least the best team in the AFC in Kansas City. They come down nice and easy and score a quick touchdown on us, and then Ben throws a bad pass, it's intercepted, and they come down and score a second touchdown on us. We get a quick 3 and out off of a drop, and they come down and score a field goal. So right away, like first quarter, it's 17-0, 3 consecutive drives. So right away, you're already down 17-zip, and it's typical Steelers. Not able to hang with the elite teams. Pittsburgh can pretty much hang with any of the average teams in the league, the teams that have a lot of holes. Pittsburgh can play with most teams because there's, a very big parity and big inconsistency in the NFL this year, especially in the AFC, but Kansas City has become once again atop the throne, and they've now clinched their division and may very well get the first seed in the AFC. But anyway, Pittsburgh gets down 17-0. They later go down 23-0 to end the first half, so Pittsburgh gets skunked with no points in the first half. They actually don't even get a field goal until about 3 minutes left in the third quarter. So yeah, right away, we're looking at 30-3 going into the fourth quarter. So not the best game for the Steelers. We did not score a touchdown until garbage time, like 3 minutes left in the game. So no touchdowns through 3 quarters, just 3 points. Not speaking too well of the offense or the defense here. We came in with several injuries. Devin Bush did not play today, for better or worse. He was injured, so Spillane got the start alongside Joe Schobert. Chris Wormley, who's been playing very, very good football the last couple of weeks, he was out today. So we saw Isaiah Loudermilk play today, which I'm a fan of his. It's good to see him out there. Also, Montravis Adams got a chance to get his first start today. He's had some good moments. Didn't do much today. Punter Presley Harvin did not play today, for better or worse. Sadly, he's grieving the loss of his father, who passed away just before last week's game. So thoughts and prayers out to the Harvin family. That being said, Kansas City came into this game without Travis Kelce. So they dominated us 23-0 in the first half and 30-3 in the first 3 quarters without their best offensive player. Travis Kelce did not play in this game. Best tight end in the NFL. And in the first quarter at some point, we had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the starting running back for the Chiefs, go down with an injury. So Chiefs playing without their starting tight end, and for most of the game without their starting running back. But once again, just like Tennessee last week, the second and third string running backs were running all over us. Common problems we couldn't cover in the past. Joe Hayden had a very bad game. He was a big addition last week, returning finally. Played very well against Tennessee for us. Did not play well today. Byron Pringle made him miss a lot. He was in the wrong spot a lot. He was missing tackles. He was getting burnt. He was out of coverage. I don't know where he was today. He was misreading a lot of things. He was going in for a lot of fakes. He was leaving his spot in the zone. I don't like his day-to-day. Byron Pringle had like 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Played pretty well. Tyreek Hill didn't do much, but had an early couple of plays on us. The running backs for Kansas City, Damian Williams and someone named Gore, not Frank Gore, not the ageless Frank Gore, but another Gore, had a big game against us, had a 30, 40-yard catch and about 60, 70 yards on the ground. Pittsburgh, the second worst rushing defense in the league, gave up like 130 rush yards to a bunch of backups again today. So trouble covering in the slot. The backup tight end did a pretty good job against us too. That is on Spillane and sometimes Schobert in there. Trey Norwood missed a couple tackles. Terrell Edmonds missed a couple tackles. Standard stuff there. I'll get to the stats and make this quick today. Big Ben, very pedestrian day. 23 of 35, 159 yards for the day. Not very much. Against the Kansas City defense, who's not great against the pass consistently. 23 of 35, 159, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and 1 fumble. Ben had a bad fumble off a guy coming off the edge blind for the sack fumble. The interception was also Ben's fault, way overthrowing a guy that could have been open, McLeod. So that's on Ben as well, 2 turnovers. Nadja Harris, stats look good, but mostly in the second half in garbage time. Harris, 19 carries for 93 yards, so it's one of his higher totals this year, but I would say about 60 of that was in the second half. He was running hard on some draw plays after the game was kind of decided already at that point. Deontay Johnson leads the way for us, but does not have a very good game. 6 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown. He gets the touchdown at the end of the fourth quarter. 3 minutes left in garbage time. But does have 2 more drop balls today and a fumble. One of the drops was in the red zone. Another drop was a third down drop, and the fumble was he caught the ball wide open and just dropped it. He was just trying to make a cut and just dropped the ball on his own. So drops 2 key passes and fumbles another. So even though he had a touchdown in garbage time, it was not his best day. He's had 1 or more drops in the last 4 or 5 games, usually in big situations. He's dropped a couple third downs. He's dropped several touchdowns. So he makes incredible catches. On this drive in the first game, our first down of the game, he caught an incredible ball where he skied up and high-pointed the ball that was going over his head and pulled down an incredible sideline catch. And then he goes and drops 2 easy ones and then drops the ball on a fumble that he shouldn't drop. So he's been inconsistent this year. Claypool, a couple nice catches early on and then a couple of drops. I think we only had 5 first downs in the first half for all I can recall. Claypool 2, Deontay 2, and Najee had 1 on a nice 20-yard run, a 22-yard run. It was the second longest run of the season. It was our only big running play in the first half. So, again, about 4 or 5 plays to speak up in the first half on offense, and that's it. I want to credit the 2 biggest things for us falling behind offensively so much. Number 1 being play calling. Our play calling is atrocious. I have not called Matt Canada on the carpet too much this year, but the last couple of games, he's been terrible. We did a lot of quick outs, just Ben snapping the ball and throwing it to the outside to a wide receiver. I know we have guys who can break tackles. Even with Juju out, we still have a couple of those guys. But you don't throw those quick outs when there's a guy up on your receivers. Kansas City is known for playing a lot of bump and run coverage. They press a lot, meaning the Kansas City guys line up right on the offensive line, right in the face of the wide receivers. So when there's no separation and there's a corner right in the face of your receiver, there's a very good chance the ball's not going to be caught and the receiver's not going to break any tackles. So throwing a quick out on a press coverage team is very, very stupid, and the Steelers did it many times. Once or twice on third downs, one of which resulted in a drop ball, another resulted in a quick tackle, so turnover on downs. Another time on fourth down, we ran a pitch play, so while we're running long on a pitch for Najee to go around the pile, when Kansas City's up on the line of scrimmage, I have no idea. So throwing against press coverage, running pitch plays on third and fourth downs, wide for a running back who's better in tight, and Kansas City playing up on the line makes no sense. The play calling is atrocious. Also, I don't know if this is a Ben thing or if this is just a lot of Canada calls or both, but Ben was trying to force the ball a lot today to Ray McLeod. Nothing against McLeod. He's a good return guy. He actually somehow leads the AFC, or I think the NFL in return yards this year. Not a bad receiver. He's a decent guy. He's especially good for your fourth receiver, but he's not really a wide receiver. He's undersized and his hands are inconsistent. He has moments, but he got, I think, the second most targets of the entire game. He had more than Claypool. James Washington, my boy, he always makes big catches, including a touchdown last week or a couple in the last 2 weeks. Had one target only in the fourth quarter from Mason Rudolph when the game was out of hand. Did Washington even get a target? And McLeod got 5 or 6 in a row. They were just forced to him. Ben was throwing the ball. One resulted in an interception. Another resulted in a drop. Several others were just knocked away. So again, nothing against McLeod, but when you don't get Nadja the ball in the passing game, and you don't use Derek Watt at all, and you're not using Washington at all, and you're only using Claypool for deep balls, I don't understand it. Tony Romo also called out the fact that since Kansas City does press coverage, they invite and allow a lot of deep passes down the sidelines. That's our specialty. That's one of the number one things Ben does, is throw those 50-50 balls down the sidelines to Claypool and to Deontay. We didn't do that really all game. We did it once to Claypool, which got us a pass interference call. So we're 1 for 1 with a pass interference. Why not do it more? Kansas City's playing up close and you want to get separation, and your receivers are known for doing that, and that's one of the routes Ben likes to throw. So why you would break from that to run these same draw plays over and over again when your running game is not getting going, especially in the first half, and throwing these quick outs when Kansas City's covering it so close? Why not let your receiver do a swim move and try and get down the sidelines? I don't understand that. So bad execution on offense. Defensively, obviously, again, 23 points in the first half, 2 consecutive touchdowns, and then a field goal, and then another touchdown. So obviously, 4 drives, 4 scores for Kansas City in the first half. I'm not sure if they even punted in the first half at all. Maybe once. Minkah Fitzpatrick once again leads the team in tackles. I don't have to tell you, I talked about it last week, why it's not good that your freaking safety is making all the tackles. That means that running backs and receivers are getting to the last level of defense against you. So 6 tackles for Fitzpatrick. Once again, not a good day. Again, we struggled in coverage with the linebackers like we always do. Nothing too bad out of Schobert today. A couple nice tackles, but a few missed ones as well. Struggling in coverage for Spillane against the backup tight ends. No surprise, Spillane's one of the worst coverage guys in the NFL, but Bush is not much better, so I think the same result would have happened anyway. We got no turnovers today, so we didn't create many splash plays. We did get 2 sacks. I really didn't even catch where the sacks came from. 2 sacks, one from Cam Hayward and one from Alex Highsmith. Highsmith got a few nice pressures. TJ Watt once again left the game with injury. I think he returned again, but he's getting banged up quite a bit. Isaiah Loudermilk did make 2 or 3 nice tackles out there. I do like a bit of what he did in the run game today. But so many missed tackles in this game. One of the Kansas City scores was a guy that ducked under and went over and just made, I think it was Pringle, made missed tackles. Again, Joe Hayden had a terrible day. He was missing tackles. He was out of position. He was getting burned. He was just not in the zone. I don't know what happened to him today. Terrell Edmonds, too, got beat several times and missed several tackles today. Not playing very well. Trey Norwood missed a few tackles. Mollett played okay, got a couple of tackles in the slot, but he was getting blocked and bullied out of his spot in this. So no real pressures. 2 sacks that were immaterial, didn't matter much. So Kansas City went ahead, and Gore and Williams ran really well. Hilaire got a nice touchdown for Kansas City. And Mahomes did what Mahomes does. And the running game dominated, and the receivers got open, even shutting down Tyreek Hill and playing without Kelsey. They still had some nice plays out of several other guys like Demarcus Robinson, and especially out of Pringle. A few out of Hardman as well. So congrats to Kansas City on clinching their division. They're going to be one of the top seeds in the AFC. Pittsburgh's still in it because of all the division losses and how bad the AFC is this year. Pittsburgh is now sitting basically in the 10 spot. There's the 7 seeds, and then the 2 teams ahead of us on the outside right now are the Chargers and somebody else. But next week against Cleveland, we're playing for our knockout game. Basically, we're 7-1 now. So if we lose to Cleveland next week, we are out. If we beat Cleveland, we've still got a shot somehow for both the wild card and the division title, depending on what Cincinnati does, because they're playing Kansas City next week. So there's a good chance Cincinnati loses next week. So there's definitely a chance that Pittsburgh is still in this thing. But you know what? We shouldn't be. We don't deserve to be. And granted, this is against a very good Kansas City team, but when you lose this game and you fall behind, you have to come back against the Titans, and you fall behind and you fall just short to Minnesota, and you lose to the Vikings, and you lose to the Raiders, and just all these games that we always lose, and all these leads that we always blow, and starting slow, and dropping on offense and fumbling on offense and not blocking on offense and getting no running game going and bad play calling and penalties and bad field position and bad time of possession. It's the same story every single week. So Pittsburgh is 7-1. They're still in it, but they don't deserve to be. Tell me in the comments below, guys, what do you think? Who stood out to you positively in this game? And do you think we're still going to make the playoffs? Are we going to get the division? Are we going to get a wild card? Are we going to wind up being just left on the outside like we deserve? Tell me in the comments down below, guys. And like, share, and subscribe this video and this channel. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you very much.